On the morning of the first day of the college entrance exam, my childhood friend locked me inside the house himself. He said, "I'm sorry, Wan, but your grades are too good, they'll get in her way." Outside the door, my mom was helping Song Qingli adjust her admission ticket bag. My dad said, "We'll let her out once she's calmed down." The clock on the wall ticked to 8:31. There are 29 minutes left until the Chinese exam begins. I smashed the window and was climbing out over the broken glass when a shard sliced open my wrist. A drop of blood fell on my exam admission ticket. That was the moment I finally understood. So all my 18 years of hard work, in their eyes, were only ever meant to clear the path for someone else. That's it. And you expect me to just give in? How naive. 8:31 a.m. on the first day of the Gaokao. I gripped the doorknob and turned it 3 times. Can't open. The door was locked from the outside. I froze for a couple of seconds, then looked down at my phone. A message popped up on the screen. "Lu Chenzhou, Wan, stop this. You're not going today." I stared at those 10 words, feeling a chill creep up my fingers inch by inch. My mother's voice came from the living room. "Qingli, do you have your exam admission ticket? What about your ID card? Don't forget the 2B pencils." Song Qingli replied softly, "Auntie, I have everything." I raised my hand and knocked on the door. "Mom, why is the door locked?" Outside fell silent for a moment, then came the voice of Lu Chenzhou. He stood close to the door, his voice lowered. Wan, stay in your room for a bit." I let out a laugh. "Lu Chenzhou, have you lost your mind? It's the college entrance exam today." "I know, you still locked me." "Huh." He fell silent for 2 seconds. "Qingli needs that guaranteed admission spot." My ears buzzed for a moment. What kind of guaranteed admission spot? No one was speaking outside the door. I slammed my hand against the door, the impact numbing my palm. "Lu Chenzhou, explain yourself clearly." My dad's voice came from the living room, tinged with impatience. "Stop clapping. The whole building can hear you." My mom hurriedly said, Wan, don't mess around. Qingli has an exam today. Don't mess with her mindset." My vision went dark. "I'm affecting her state of mind." Song Qingli said softly, "Uncle, Auntie, maybe we should let my sister come out. If she really misses her exam, I'd never forgive myself." Her voice trembled with unshed tears. "It's always the same. The moment she starts crying, my mom's heart melts like freshly cooked porridge." Sure enough, my mom immediately said, "You're just too kind. She's always had the upper hand over you since you were kids, and now she won't even give you a chance." I leaned against the door, my throat feeling like it was stuffed with sandpaper. "Mom, what should I give up?" My dad said, Wan, your competition results are already good enough. Even if you miss one exam, you can retake it and still get into a good school. Qingli is different. This time, if she gets the district's special recommendation, she'll have a chance to go to school. Special recommendation. My fingers trembled as the truth finally dawned on me. Last month, the city launched a special recommendation for outstanding students from impoverished backgrounds, and our school was allocated only one candidate slot. Grades, competitions, and comprehensive evaluations all count. The list hasn't been made public yet, the homeroom teacher said. "I'm pretty much a lock." "So that's their game." I laughed out loud, a sharp, painful laugh that hurt my chest. "So you locked me up to make me miss the exam. That way, my overall evaluation would be voided, and the spot could go to Song Qingli." No one answered. The clock on the wall ticked to 8:33. Chinese exam starts at 9 a.m. The exam center is a 15-minute bike ride from home. If we leave now, we can still make it. I took a deep breath. "Open the door," Lu Chenzhou said. Wan, calm down. "Open the door." "Don't do that." I kicked the door with my foot. The wooden door creaked softly. My mom's voice rang out from outside the door. "Zhu, are you trying to kill yourself?" I said. "Yeah, if I don't get into the exam hall today, I'll die right in front of you." Lu Chenzhou finally lost his composure. "Zhu, don't try to scare people with that kind of talk." "Then open the door." He fell silent. I heard the jingle of a keychain. The flicker of hope I just felt was instantly crushed by my father. "Chenzhou, give me the keys," Lu Chenzhou murmured. "Uncle, give it to me." The sound of keys faded into the distance. My father said, "You know how hot-tempered she is. If we open the door now and she rushes out, she'll make a scene and embarrass everyone. Qingli is about to enter the exam hall. Let's not stir up any more trouble." My mom chimed in. "Once the exam's been going for half an hour and she can't get in, she'll give up on her own." Half an hour after the start, 9:30, by then. The first subject, Chinese, would be a total write-off. I leaned back against the door and slowly slid down to the floor. My phone battery was down to 27%. I called my homeroom teacher. It connected. Hey, Zhuan, have you arrived at the test site yet? My voice was so hoarse it didn't sound like my own. Mr. Chin, I'm locked inside my house. There was a pause on the other end of the line. What? My parents and Lu Chenzhou locked me in my room to stop me from taking the college entrance exam. They wanted me to miss the test so that the recommendation spot would go to Song Qingli. A scraping sound of a chair came from Teacher Chen's direction. Where are you now? What floor are you on at home? Third floor. Can the window be opened? I looked up. The windows are fitted with security bars. An old apartment building. Third floor. The security bars on the windows were installed 10 years ago. The crisscrossing iron bars were rusted. There are security bars. Teacher Chen's voice tightened. Don't do anything rash. I'm calling the police right now. Keep your phone on. No time. Zhuan. I hung up the phone. 8:36. I stood up, rushed to the desk, and pulled out the toolbox. Inside, there's a screwdriver, a utility knife, and some leftover hacksaw blades from when I built a physics model last year. There are 2 securing screws on the outside of the anti-theft barrier, rusted shut. I jammed the screwdriver in and gave it a hard twist. It didn't budge an inch. My palm was rubbed raw, the skin peeling back with a sharp, burning sting. From outside the door, Song Qingli said softly, Sis, stop fighting it. Your aunt and uncle mean well. Your health has never been great, and repeating a year of school isn't the end of the world. I stopped moving. She stood outside the door, her voice slipping through the crack. And even if you do get in, so what? Auntie says it's not good for a girl to go too far away. You'd be better off staying here. I tightened my grip on the screwdriver. Song Qingli, she gave a soft, acknowledging hum. What was your score on the 3rd mock exam in senior year? She remained silent. I said, 392. You didn't even make the cutoff for a bachelor's degree. It went quiet outside the door. I went back to tightening the screw. Song Qingli suddenly let out a laugh, very light, but they're willing to help me. The screwdriver slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. Her voice dropped even lower. Zhuan, what good are your good grades? Lu Chenzhou likes me, and it's me that uncle and Auntie dote on. You've beaten me so many times since we were little. This time, just consider it your repayment. I stared at the door. Everything in front of me was red. 8:40. I grabbed the chair and hurled it at the window. The sound of shattering glass was terrifyingly loud. Chaos erupted outside the door. My mother screamed, Zhuan, what are you doing? My dad rushed to the door. Try jumping off the building, you dare. I grabbed my school bag and stuffed in my admission ticket, ID card, and pencil case, wrapped the school uniform jacket around his hand, then reach out to pry at the broken glass. Shards of glass scraped across the wrist. A gash opened up, blood welled up instantly, running down the back of my hand and dripping onto the windowsill. I paid it no mind. One of the iron bars in the security grate was loose. I wedged a hacksaw blade into the joint and began sawing, stroke after stroke. The saw blade gnawed through the rust with a grating screech. The door was struck from the outside. Lu Chenzhou shouted, Zhuan, don't move, it's dangerous. I ignored him. He shouted again, I'm opening the door, I'm opening it now. The sound of keys drawing nearer. My dad snapped, Lu Chenzhou, uncle, this could kill someone. The key was inserted into the lock. I paused for half a second. The lock turned. It's on. The moment the door swung open, I snatched up my backpack and bolted out. Lu Chenzhou blocked the doorway. His face pale, he reached out to grab my arm. Wan, your hand is bleeding. Let me take you to the hospital. I shook him off. Get out. He froze. I rushed to the foyer to change my shoes. My mom lunged forward and grabbed the strap of my school bag. You can't go. Qingli already promised the teacher she'd submit the recommendation materials today. If you leave, what is she supposed to do? I turned to look at her. What she does is none of my business. My mom slapped me the moment I turned my face away. I tasted blood in my mouth. She was stunned too. My dad frowned. How dare you talk to your mother like that? I look at them, a biological father, a biological mother, a childhood friend I grew up with, and Song Qingli, standing in the center of the living room, her eyes red with tears. She was holding my spare admission ticket bag in her hand. In the bottom right corner of the transparent bag, there's a blue name tag I personally affixed, Zhuan. It was now crumpled beyond recognition in her clenched fist. I walked over and snatched it back. Song Qingli stumbled from the force, and tears instantly welled up in her eyes. Sis, I was just keeping it safe for you. I didn't wait for her to finish speaking before I raised my hand and slapped her. A sharp snap. The living room was deathly still. She covered her face, staring at me in disbelief. Luchenjo rushed over. Shuwan, I looked up at him. You looking for a beating too? He stopped in his tracks. I stuffed the exam admission ticket into my backpack and pulled the door open. A few neighbors were already standing in the hallway, peering around curiously. My mom shouted behind me, if you dare walk out today, don't you dare come back. I didn't stop walking. Okay, 8:47. I ran down from the third floor, blood from my wrist dripped all the way down. Stepping out of the building, I hopped on my bike and plunged into the sultry July air. It was 8:59 when I arrived at the exam center entrance. The cordon has been set up. Almost all the candidates have gone in. Ms. Chen stood in the doorway, her forehead beaded with sweat. When she saw me, her eyes instantly welled up. Shuwan, I threw my bicycle to the ground and ran over. The guard stopped me. Exam pass and ID, please. As I reached for my ID, a drop of blood stained one corner of the clear plastic pouch. Teacher Chen grabbed my wrist, his voice trembling. How did you get hurt so badly? I was breathing heavily. Teacher, I can take the exam. She looked up at the proctor. 1 minute left. The invigilator glanced at his watch and immediately let her pass. I rushed into the exam hall and sat down just as the broadcast came on. Let's begin distributing the exam papers now. I lowered my head. A drop of blood had smudged the photo on my exam admission ticket. My wrist was still bleeding. The invigilator handed me a pack of tissues and whispered, apply pressure first. I took it. The moment the Chinese exam paper landed on the desk, I suddenly smiled. I smiled until the rims of my eyes burned. Those people outside the door thought locking it could lock away my life, but I was determined to finish this exam. Not a single stroke missed. Too. I've known Luchenjo for 18 years to be precise. It started from the day I was born. My mother and his mother gave birth on the same day in the same hospital, in adjacent rooms. The two families also live in the same neighborhood. Adults joke that this is called fate. When I was young, I believed in kindergarten. He snatched back my hair tie from a boy who had yanked it off in elementary school. When I was made to stand in the corner as punishment, he tore a page from his own notebook for me to copy from in 8th grade. When I had a fever, he carried me to the infirmary on his back, his uniform soaked through with my sweat. He said to me, Zhuwan, I'll look out for you from now on. At the time, I thought that promise would last forever. It wasn't until Song Qingli moved into the apartment above mine. Song Qingli is not a relative. Her dad used to be my dad's boss at work. Later, he failed in an investment and ended up deeply in debt. The couple divorced, and her mom moved in with her to our neighborhood. My mom first met her at the stairwell. She was carrying a bag of rice and was already out of breath by the time she reached the 3rd floor. Song Qingli hurried down the stairs and steadied the bag. Ma'am, let me help you. My mom came back and immediately praised it. The kid upstairs is so well behaved and looks so sweet. That year, we were in the 9th grade. Song Qingli was an average student, quiet by nature, and always greeted others with a smile. She always calls me big sister even if she's only 2 months younger than me. I don't like that nickname. She came to my house to do homework for the first time and stared at the trophy on my desk for a long time. Big sister, you're so amazing, I said. Don't call me sister. Her eyes welled up instantly. Sorry, did I say something wrong? My mom happened to walk in with a plate of fruit. Shuwan, Song Qingli is talking to you nicely. Why are you making a face? I lowered my head and went back to my homework. From that day on, Song Qingli started coming to my house often. My mom would slice apples for her, peeled, cored, cut into little pieces, and serve with toothpicks. I never thought apples were anything special until the day I wanted some too. My mom said, there's more in the kitchen. Go wash one yourself. Song Qingli immediately pushed the plate toward me. You have it. Sis, I'm done. My mom's heart absolutely ached for her. Mind your own food and leave her alone. She's perfectly fine, just too lazy to move. Song Qingli lowered her head, a faint smile playing at the corner of her mouth. I see it. That slight curve is like a needle. It didn't go in deep, but it will stay in the flesh forever. We got into the same key high school together. I got into the experimental class. Lu Chenzhou also made it into the experimental class. Song Qingli is in the regular class. During the first week of school, Lu Chenzhou waited for me after school every day. The following week, he started giving Song Qingli a ride home on his way. He said, she's a girl, going home alone at night isn't safe. I asked, what about me? He said, aren't you coming with me? Later, it became me waiting for him, and him waiting for Song Qingli. Later on, he said, Wan Wan, you go ahead without me. Qingli is on duty today, so I'll stay with her for a bit. At the end of the first semester of my freshman year, I ranked first in my grade, Liu Chenzhou ranked 12th in his grade. Song Qingli is ranked 27th in the class. My dad looked at the report card and said, "Not bad." My mom said, "You've always done well in school, so don't get arrogant." In the evening, Song Qingli came to my house with her report card, her eyes red and puffy. "Auntie, am I really that stupid?" My mother took her by the hand and sat her down. "Where's the dumb part? You moved up 5 spots, that's really good already." That day my mom made pork rib soup. Song Qingli scooped a large spoonful into her bowl. "There are 3 pieces of corn in my bowl," I said. "Mom, I want some ribs too." My mom was taken aback for a moment. "There's none left in the pot. Why didn't you say something sooner?" Song Qingli immediately pushed her bowl toward me. "Big sister, eat mine." My mother held her down. "Don't spoil her." My dad chimed in from the side. "Juwan, don't compare yourself to Qingli so much. Her family's circumstances are difficult, and she's quite sensitive. Try to be a little more understanding." Given a little, those 3 words later became the most common phrase in our household. Song Qingli didn't have any competition books. I'll be the bigger person and let her borrow my book. Song Qingli doesn't use a tablet for online classes. I'll give in and let her use my tablet. Song Qingli wants to enroll in a math improvement class, which costs 6,000 yuan. I'll back off. My physics competition camp got cancelled. In my sophomore year of high school, I won the provincial first prize. In the national high school physics competition, the school awarded me a 3,000 yuan bonus. "I'd like to buy a laptop," my mom said. "Qingli's mom is still short on rent this month. Lend her some for now." I said, "That's my bonus." My mom's expression darkened instantly. "How can you be so selfish at such a young age? Think how hard it is for Qingli." My dad said, "I'll buy it for you next time." Later, I waited until I graduated from senior year of high school, but the laptop never arrived. 3,000 yuan was transferred to Song Qingli. She sent me a WeChat message. "Qingli, sis, thank you. I'll pay you back for sure." I replied, "Don't pay me back, just pay my mom back directly." She didn't reply. The next day, she posted on her social media feed, "The photo shows a new dress, look good even on a cloudy day." Liu Chenzhou liked it. I stared at that like for a long time, then blocked her on WeChat Moments. At the start of the senior year, the school organized a specialized recommendation program. The teacher said this spot is very important. With competition awards as a plus, there's a chance to gain admission to top universities with lower score requirements. My materials are the most comprehensive academic performance, competitions, volunteer service, publications. Mr. Chen called me into his office. "Juwan, you have great hope." I nodded. "Thank you, teacher." She looked at me and asked, "Do you have your family's support?" I fell silent for a moment. "I can make my own decision." Teacher Chen didn't ask further, only saying, "Don't let others change your path for you." I didn't grasp the weight of those words at the time. 1 month before the college entrance exam, Song Qingli suddenly started visiting my house frequently. She brought flowers for my mom, bought a lumbar support for my dad, and helped Liu Chenzhou go over his mistakes. I was in my room grinding through practice tests while she sat in the living room, quietly crying. "Auntie, I might really not be able to go to school anymore." My mom comforted her. "Don't say that, there's still a chance, but there's only 1 spot for the special recommendation, and with my sister being so outstanding, I'm sure I don't stand a chance." The living room fell silent for a few seconds. My pen paused. My mom said, "Don't worry, Auntie will figure something out." That night, I locked the door for the first time. The next day, I couldn't find my admission ticket. I rummaged through my backpack and drawers, finally finding it in the folder that Song Qingli had brought. She looked flustered. "Sis, I'm sorry. I must have accidentally picked up the wrong papers when I was gathering my things." I stared at her. "Why is my exam admission ticket in your folder?" Her tears fell with a soft plop. "I really don't know." My mom rushed out from the kitchen. "You found it, didn't you? Do you really have to make a scene right before the college entrance exams?" Liu Chenzhou is here too. He frowned. "Wan, Qingli didn't mean it." I asked him, "If it were your admission ticket that got lost today, would you still say the same thing?" He looked away. "See, I found it." From that day on, I kept my exam admission ticket on me at all times. I slept with it tucked under my pillow. I even placed it on the bathroom shelf while showering. But I never expected that. They've stopped stealing admission tickets. They locked the door directly. The Chinese language exam lasts 2.5 hours. I pressed my right hand against the wound on my wrist. while using my left to turn the pages of the exam paper. At first, my handwriting was a little shaky. By the time I reached the essay section, the bleeding had stopped. The essay prompt was doors and roads. I looked at the question and smiled. What a coincidence, I wrote. When a door is locked from the outside, one might think the path is blocked, but a path is never found on a door. It's forged by the steps of those who walk out. The bell rang, signaling the end of the exam, and I set down my pen. The proctor came over to collect my paper and noticed the blood-soaked tissue on my wrist. "Hey, do you need to go to the infirmary?" I nodded as I stepped out of the exam hall. The sunlight outside was blinding. Teacher Chen was waiting at the stairwell, holding a bottle of iodine and some gauze. She didn't ask how the exam went. She simply said, "Let me see your hand." I reached out. She disinfected me. The iodine stung my wound, and I winced with a sharp intake of breath. Mr. Chen lowered his head and spoke softly. "The police went to your house." I let out a soft hum. "Your parents said it was a family conflict. Lu Chenzhou said he just wanted you to rest, worried you were under too much pressure." I smiled. "He's quite the talker." Mr. Chen looked up at me. "Are you still up for the math exam this afternoon?" "Yes." She finished wrapping the gauze and tied it off. "Xu Wan, listen to me. From now on, don't go home. After the exam this afternoon, I'll take you to the hotel arranged by the school. I'll stay with you for the next 2 days." My nose stung with the threat of tears. "Won't that be too much trouble for you, teacher?" She looked at me. "It's not easy for a student to make it to the exam hall. There's not much a teacher can do, but at the very least, I can't let you collapse at the door." I turned my face away. I was on the verge of tears. At noon, I was eating a boxed lunch in the school's temporary break room, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, some greens, and half a chicken cutlet. My phone kept buzzing. My mom had called 27 times. My dad hit 12. Lu Chenzhou sent over a dozen messages. "Lu Chenzhou, Wan, I'm sorry. I was impulsive this morning." "Lu Chenzhou, answer the phone first. I want to check how your hand is." "Lu Chenzhou, uncle and auntie regret it too." "Lu Chenzhou." Qingli was crying hard, saying it was all her fault. I scrolled up to find his message. 8:31 a.m. He texted, "You shouldn't go today." I took a screenshot, then block him. "Math this afternoon." When the exam paper was handed out, a dull throb pulsed in my wrist, but the questions flowed smoothly. I finished the final, most challenging calculus problem in 17 minutes. Before handing it in, I double-checked my answer sheet. When the bell rang, I let out a long, deep sigh of relief. As I left the exam hall, Teacher Chen was waiting for me downstairs. Standing beside her were 2 police officers, and there were my parents, Lu Chenzhou, and Song Qingli. Song Qingli's eyes were puffy and red, as if she had been crying for a long time. She rushed toward me as soon as she saw me. "Sis, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I had no idea things would turn out this way. I never meant for you to miss your exam." I moved aside to avoid it. She lunged forward and missed, nearly losing her balance. Lu Chenzhou studied her, instinctively frowning in my direction. That look was all too familiar. "You think I'm cold. They think I'm being childish. They're upset I embarrassed Song Qingli." My mother came over, crying. Wan, I wasn't thinking straight this morning. How's your hand?" "Let me see." She reached out. I took a step back. "Don't touch me." She froze. My dad's face darkened. "Xuan, there are so many people watching. You should let it go. You made it into the exam hall this morning. You didn't miss it." I stared at him. "Didn't miss it." He avoided my gaze. "Anyway, it's all in the past. Qingli was so scared by you that she couldn't focus on her exam all morning. Time for you to cool off too." I almost burst out laughing. "Is it my fault she didn't do well on the test?" Song Qingli immediately grabbed my father's arm. "Uncle, please stop. It's only right that my sister dislikes me." Teacher Chen's face darkened. "Mr. Zhu, this is not the time for mediating a family dispute. You are suspected of restricting the examinee's personal freedom and disrupting the order of a national examination." My dad's expression changed. "Teacher, you need proof to back up your words." I held up my phone. "I do." Everyone turned to look at me. I hit record from the moment I started knocking on the door, to Song Qingli's line, "But they're willing to help me," and then my dad saying, "Wait half an hour after the exam starts. Once it's too late to get in, she'll finally give up." Word for word, crystal clear. The color drained from Song Qingli's face. Lu Chenzhou was also stunned. My mother's lips trembled. You're recording," I said. From the moment I lost my admission ticket for the first time, I started using quick recording. I turned my gaze towards Song Qingli. "You really think I'm that stupid?" Song Qingli's lips parted, but the tears welled up in her eyes, refusing to fall. The police officer took my phone, his expression serious. My dad got worried. This is a family matter, we just wanted her to calm down, I said. Then go and explain yourself calmly to the police. At that moment, many people at the school gate stopped to look. There were students taking exams, parents, and teachers. My mother covered her face and cried. My dad held back his anger as he explained to the police. Lu Qinshu kept his eyes fixed on me, his gaze unbearably complicated. I didn't look at him. Mr. Chen shielded me behind him. Let's go, the hotel room is booked. I nodded. As I got into the taxi, I heard Song Qingli crying and shouting behind me. Sis, you can't do this. I really didn't mean it. I rolled down the car window. She stood by the roadside, her face streaked with tears. I said, Song Qingli. She looked up. I said, enunciating each word, starting today, your tears won't help anymore. The car window slid up, the taxi drove away. In the rearview mirror, her figure grew smaller and smaller. I leaned back in the seat, my wrist aching and my face hurting too, but somewhere deep inside me, I felt a weight lift for the very first time. 3. The hotel room is quite small, a bed, a table, and curtains that carried the lingering smell of smoke that couldn't be washed out. Teacher Chen shoved the room key into my hand. Get a good night's sleep tonight, focus on integration tomorrow, and avoid your phone. I nodded. She reached the door, then turned back. Shuwan, don't be afraid. After the door closed, I sat on the edge of the bed and began taking things out of my backpack, one by one. Admission ticket, ID card, pencil case. We weren't allowed to bring out our Chinese and math scratch paper, but the formulas are still stuck in my head. The phone vibrated twice. Unknown number. I didn't answer. A moment later, a text message came in. Mom, Wan, your father has been taken to the police station for questioning. Are you happy now, Mom? Qingli has been crying non-stop, saying she ruined your life. Why are you pushing her to this point, Mom? Lu Qinshu is waiting for you outside. He wants to apologize. I stared at the screen. Suddenly it all seemed ridiculous. It was clearly me who was locked in the room. I was the one who almost missed the college entrance exam. The one who had 3 stitches on his wrist was me. But in my mother's words, the one being pressured is always Song Qingli. I replied to the last message I sent her before the college entrance exam. It was the day after the 3rd mock exam. I said, Mom, Mr. Chen told me I have a chance to get into Kyoto University's physics program. She replied, got it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Qingli hasn't been doing well lately, so try not to upset her. I am typing now. Your daughter almost missed the exam today. Did you even ask me if I was in pain? Send. It says they're typing. A long time, Mom. Didn't you already take the test? I stared at those 8 characters, the last flicker of warmth in his heart snapped out with a sharp crack. I'm turning off my phone. Don't let your wrists get wet when showering. I put a plastic bag over my arm and held it up. In the mirror, the handprint was still visible on my left cheek, red, swollen. I stared for a few seconds, then suddenly raised my hand to touch it. It hurts. Not bad, it hurts. So it's not a dream. Comprehensive on the 2nd day, English on the 3rd. Mr. Chen handled all the transportation. My parents never showed up again. Lu Qinshu came by once, but Mr. Chen stopped him in the hotel lobby. I stood by the elevator and saw him carrying medicine and kanji. He saw me too. Wan. I pressed the close button. He rushed forward, but the elevator doors shut right in his face. Through the crack, his eyes were bloodshot and terrifying. English ended on the afternoon of the 3rd day. The moment I stepped out of the exam hall, the whole school erupted in cheers. Some threw their books, some hugged each other and cried, while others called their parents. I stood in the crowd, suddenly unsure of where to go. Mr. Chen handed me a bottle of water. What are your plans next? Let's head back to school to grab my stuff first. Not going home. I shook my head. She didn't try to persuade me. The school dorms had been empty for a while. My bed was still there, with the suitcase shoved underneath it. I packed a few clothes, my competition certificates, bank cards, and a copy of my household register inside. The original household register was back at home. I'd deal with that later. Mr. Chen was waiting for me at the door. The school has a summer competition teaching assistant position. It includes housing and a stipend. Would you like to stay? My hand paused. Is that okay? I've already spoken to the principal. I looked up at her. She smiled. Don't look like you're about to cry. A student like you is exactly the kind the school wants to keep as a shining example. I laughed too. Thank you, Professor. That evening, I moved into the On-duty dormitory the university provided for teaching assistants. It was a 4-person room, but I was the only occupant. Outside the window is the playground. After turning on my phone, my messages blew up. Someone in the family group chat mentioned me. Auntie, I heard Wanwan called the police on her own father. Kids these days are really something else. Aunt, what a terrible omen. Causing such a scene on the day of the college entrance exams. Cousin, no matter what, you shouldn't have brought family matters to the police. My mom sent a long message. She said she's had a tough time all these years, saying that Song Qingli is pitiful. She just wanted to help a child who had no one else to turn to. They say I'm doing well academically and have plenty of opportunities, so I shouldn't be so petty. The last sentence, Mom, Wanwan, you've broken my heart. I read every single word, then I sent 9 pictures. The first one was my medical record for stitches on my wrist. The second photo shows the lock on the outside of the door. The third photo shows bloodstains on the exam admission ticket. The fourth item is a screenshot of the audio recording transcript. The fifth item is a screenshot of Song Qingli's social media post showing her new dress, posted the day after my 3,000 yuan bonus was borrowed. The sixth one is the photo where I caught Song Qingli taking my exam admission ticket. The seventh one shows my class rankings from freshman to senior year. 8th, Provincial First Class Award certificate for the competition. The ninth one is my mom's line. Didn't you already take the exam? I added a caption, Zhuwan, I didn't call the police to arrest my father, I called the police to save myself. The group chat fell completely silent for 3 whole minutes, then it exploded. Aunt, is this for real? Cousin, holy crap, they locked the door to stop her from taking the college entrance exam. Are they even her real parents? Auntie, that girl Qingli always seemed so well behaved. My mom is frantically deleting her messages. My dad called. I hung up. He called again. I blocked his number. Lu Chinzhou sent a friend request. Note, Wanwan, please, just see me once. I didn't accept it. The next day, word got around the school. To be precise, it spread everywhere. On the day of the college entrance exam, a student was locked inside by family members and rushed to the exam bleeding. It's the kind of thing that's bound to get around. The principal personally called me in for a talk. Zhuwan, we'll re-examine the special recommendation materials. No one can touch your eligibility. I asked, what about Song Qingli? The principal's expression darkened. There are questions regarding several of her volunteer service records in her file. The school has already reported it. I nodded. Song Qingli, of course, had her doubts. Her so-called volunteer work included 2 instances where she cropped my face out of my photos and pieced them together. I couldn't be bothered to argue back then. I'm not putting up with this anymore. Late June, the day before the scores came out, Lu Chinzhou was waiting for me at the school gate. He had lost a noticeable amount of weight, his hair was disheveled, and dark circles shadowed his eyes. Wanwan, I stepped around him. He blocked my path. Just a few words. Talk. He looked at my wrist. The wound had already scabbed over, leaving only a thin, elongated red mark. His eyes instantly welled up. I'm sorry, I said. Is that all? I never meant to actually hurt you that day. It's just, Qingli kept crying. She said if you got the recommendation, she'd be finished. Your parents also said your grades were good, and repeating a year wouldn't be a big deal for you. My mind was just a mess. I looked at him. When we were kids, this person carried me on their back to the infirmary. In high school, they walked Song Qingli home on the day of the college entrance exam. They stood outside my door and told me not to go. 18 years of shared history, and it turns out it can be made so light, so easily dismissed. Lu Chinzhou, do you know why I recorded that day? He froze. Because of that time when the admission ticket was lost. You sided with Song Qingli. His face went pale. I went on, because I've realized that the childhood friend I've known for 18 years can no longer be trusted. His lips moved slightly. Wanwan, I used to have feelings for you. I laughed. What a bummer. His face froze. I walked past him. He shouted from behind. What if I said I regret it now? I stopped. I turned to look at him. Then you'll just have to live with the regret. 10 o'clock on the night the results came out. I'm sitting in the school computer lab. Teacher Chen stood behind me, more nervous than I was. Enter your examination number. Enter the last 6 digits of your ID number. The page froze for 3 seconds. The score popped up. Chinese, 132. Math, 150. Integrated 292. English 145. Total score 719, second in the province. The server room fell silent for a moment. Teacher Chen slammed his palm down on the table. Nice. Her voice cracked, my eyes were fixed on the 3 digits, 719, and with each passing second, my heartbeat grew heavier. It wasn't hurt, it wasn't sadness, it was pure exhilaration, a bone-deep, exhilarating thrill. The phone started buzzing like crazy, the principal, the admissions office, major universities and colleges. There were also calls from unknown numbers. My mom called from a new number. I answered it, her voice was trembling badly. Juan, 719, you really scored 719, I gave a quiet She started to cry. I knew you could do it, I just knew. I cut her off. You don't know. The line went silent. On the morning of the Gaokao, you thought I'd missed the first exam. Her crying stopped. I said, Mom, don't try to ride on my coattails. I hung up the phone. Half an hour later, the family group chat blew up, ranked second in the province. Admissions teams from Peking University and Tsinghua University rushed to the school overnight. The Municipal Education Bureau sent a congratulatory message. The media wants an interview. My parents have finally become the second best parents in the province in everyone's eyes, yet whenever anyone asks about what happened on the day of the college entrance exam, they always get a second glance. I heard from Mr. Chen that my dad drank a lot that night. My mom called her, crying and begging her to let me come home for a meal. Mr. Chen asked me, going back. I'm looking at the score screenshot on the desk. No, at 11:40 that night, Song Qingli texted me. Qingli, Zhuwan, are you happy now? I replied. Halfway there, she replied quickly, what do you mean? I sent over the screenshot evidence of her falsified volunteer service materials. Me, the other half, waiting for your punishment to be decided. There was still no response from over there. 3 days later, the school will make the announcement public, disqualified Song Qingli from special recommendation candidacy. With a reprimand recorded, the bulletin board was surrounded by a crowd. Some took photos, while others gossiped. Song Qingli burst into the office, tearfully pleading with the principal. I was just so scared. I didn't mean to. The principal said, you should have thought about the consequences when you forged the documents. She came to see me again. I was explaining a problem to my high school freshman. She stood at the classroom door, her face deathly pale. Zhuwan, come out here. I put down the chalk. Wait for me after class. She burst in, her voice shrill and piercing. What gives you the right to ruin me? Every student in the classroom turned to look. I look at her. Get out. No way. Just because you scored 719, you think you can trample all over me? I walked up to her. Song Qingli, get this straight. You're being disciplined not because I scored 719, but because you falsified records. Her tears fell. But I just want a chance. I gave you a chance. She froze for a moment. I stared at her. I lent you books in freshman year, gave you my scholarship in sophomore year, and didn't call the police when you took my exam card in senior year. I've given you too many chances. My voice turned cold. It's you who uses it to hurt me every single time. The expression on her face crumbled piece by piece. I turned toward the classroom. Remember, there's another way to solve this problem. Everyone froze. I picked up the chalk and wrote a formula on the blackboard. Song Qingli stood behind me for a few seconds, then suddenly ran out in tears. That day, I finished explaining the final problem. A freshman whispered from the back, that senior is so cool. I looked down, gathering the chalk. I couldn't help but let a smile tug at the corner of my mouth. Ending the third period here was actually pretty perfect. They locked my door on the day of the college entrance exam. The moment the scores came out, I saw everyone's true faces clearly. For in early July, the admissions teams from Peking University and Tsinghua University both arrived. Tsinghua University's School of Physics called me. The professor's voice was gentle. Ms. Zhuwan, your competition background is very impressive. We would be delighted to have you here. Peking University's Yuanpei College reached out as well. You can choose any major, and we can tailor an academic plan specifically for you. Teacher Chen asked me, where do you want to go? I said, Kyoto University Physics. Are you sure? Confirmed. She smiled and said, that's good. On the day we signed the letter of intent, the school conference room was packed. The principal, the grade level head, the admissions officers, and the press, and my parents. No one told me they were coming. I pushed the door open and my mom immediately stood up. She was wearing a brand new dress, and her hair was styled in an elaborate updo. Eyes are red. Juan. I glanced at the principal. The principal looked a bit awkward. Your parents said they wanted to witness it. Without a word, I walked over and sat down across from the admissions officer. My Father sat in the corner, his back ramrod straight, as if trying to maintain some semblance of dignity, yet his hands kept rubbing his knees. The admissions officer slid the document toward me. Zhuan, please double-check. I looked down at the agreement. Name, ID number, admission direction, training plan. Every word is crystal clear. I signed my name, Zhuan. The strokes are sharp. The press took photos. My mother wiped away her tears. A reporter asked, Zhuan, with such outstanding results, who would you most like to thank? The conference room fell silent. I saw my mother look up, her eyes held anticipation, a flicker of panic, and a delicate glimmer of cautious hope. I picked up the microphone. I want to thank my homeroom teacher, Ms. Chen. During the gaokao, she picked me up from home, booked a hotel for me, and stayed with me until the exams were over. The reporter was taken aback for a moment. He pressed on. Your parents must have given you a lot of support growing up, right? I looked directly into the camera. I'd recommend we skip that question. The air in the room grew still. The principal cleared his throat. The reporter quickly changed the subject. So, do you have any words for the younger students? I said. You must keep your exam admission ticket safe. The same goes for your room key. Someone couldn't help but let out a small laugh, then quickly stifled it. My mom's face is extremely pale. After signing the agreement, I stood up to leave. She ran out after him. Wan. The hallway was empty. I stopped. She was clutching a thermos in her hand. Mom made you some soup. You've lost weight lately, I said. No, thanks. Just take a bite. Just one. She shoved the thermos into my hands. I didn't pick up. The thermos fell on the floor. The lid wasn't tightened properly, and the soup spilled all over the floor. 2 pieces of spare ribs fell out. A slick of oil floats on the tile floor. She crouched down to pick it up, fumbling in her haste. It's okay. Mom will make you another one. And I'll bring it over tonight. I looked at her. Suddenly, I remembered that bowl of pork rib soup from my first year of high school. Song Qingli's bowl was full. In my bowl, there were only 3 pieces of corn. I said I wanted to eat the spare ribs. She said there were none left in the pot. Those 2 spare ribs, arriving so late, were really quite pitiful. Don't bring any more. She was crouched on the ground, looking up at me. Wan, Mom truly knows she was wrong, I said. You only know you were wrong because I scored 719. Her lips began to tremble. No. Mom's just worried about you. When my wrist was bleeding, you were worried about Song Qingli failing her exam. She was completely speechless. I walked past her. My father was standing there, around the corner. He must have heard. He was holding an unlit cigarette. When he saw me, he crumpled the cigarette in his palm. Wan, I didn't answer, he said. I've brought the household register for you. I came to a halt. He took a document folder out of his bag. You'll need this for your university paperwork. The bank card is inside. There's 100,000 in the account. I looked at him. Where did the money come from? His throat is dry and hoarse. We've got some savings at home, and I sold the car. I didn't answer. No need. This is what I owe you. What you owe isn't money. His eyes instantly welled up. I said, I'll earn the money myself. Leave the household register here. He handed over the document folder. I pulled out the household register and my ID, and handed the bank card back. He didn't take it. I just set it down on the windowsill. Mr. Zhu, please don't come to the school to look for me anymore. He gave a slight shrug. Mr. Zhu, that nickname was like a knife, severing the fragile father-daughter bond he'd been trying so hard to keep. I left with the household register in hand. I spent the rest of the summer vacation continuing my work as a teaching assistant at school every morning. I taught competition basics to first-year high school students. In the afternoons, I organized materials, and in the evenings, I studied university physics on my own. Mr. Chen would occasionally take me out for a meal. She asked once, do you hate them? I thought about it. Not when I'm busy, and when you're not. If you're not busy, do a couple more problems. She smiled. You silly thing. In August, the acceptance letter arrived, a thick booklet with a red cover. The school had arranged for a photo to be taken. I stood at the school gate, holding my admission letter. The sun was so bright it hurt my eyes. After taking the photo, I received a text message. Unknown number. Mom, Wan, your acceptance letter looks so nice. I saw it from a distance at the school gate. Didn't want to disturb you. I looked up. Across the street, a figure was hiding behind a tree. She saw me looking and quickly ducked out of sight. I looked down and typed a 2-word reply. Understood. That was the first time I replied to her message after the college entrance exam. It was a long time before she replied. Okay, okay, just 2 words. It felt like it was typed out through tears. A week before school started, I went to the bank to open an account. It was raining when I came out. I didn't bring an umbrella. I stood at the doorway waiting for the rain to let up. An umbrella was held over my head. Lucinjo, he looked even thinner than the last time I saw him. I'm not following you. My mother asked me to come and take care of some business. I stepped to the side. The rain instantly soaked my shoulder. He moved the umbrella over again. Don't get wet, I said. Stay away from me. His hand froze midair. Shuwan, I'm going to study at a university in the south. Congratulations. Qingli didn't retake the year. I didn't respond, he said. Her family moved away. I heard her mom took her somewhere else. Not my problem. The rain is coming down harder and harder, he suddenly said. Would we be different if she weren't here? I watched the curtain of rain. No, he gave a bitter smile. So sure of that. Lucinjo, you're giving yourself far too much credit as the innocent party. His face paled slightly. I said, Song Qingli just handed you the knife. The one who drove it in was you. Rain drummed against the umbrella, a steady, percussive patter. His eyes grew red. I truly believed at the time that you could manage, even if you missed a year of exams. So what? So I was wrong. I looked at him. Your mistake isn't underestimating me. He froze. It's you who thinks my life is something you can weigh and measure. His hand holding the umbrella slowly lowered. Rain fell on his shoulder, quickly soaking a patch of his clothes. The bus is coming. I rushed into the rain and got into the car. Insert coin, find a seat. Before the car door closed, I saw Lucinjo still standing at the entrance of the bank, the umbrella tilted to one side. I stood frozen, as if pinned in place by the rain. I didn't look back. 5. On the day Kyoto University started, I arrived on campus alone. The suitcase is still the same old one. The handle is a bit loose, and the wheels have been replaced once. The dorm is on the 6th floor. There was no elevator. I lugged my suitcase up the stairs, and just as I reached the 4th floor, a girl came down from above. She had short hair, was wearing headphones, and carried a stack of books in her arms. She glanced at me. New student. Yeah. Physics Institute. Yeah. She tucked the book under her arm and reached out to grab my suitcase. I've got you. No need. It's not heavy. She's already brought it up. It's not heavy at all. Are you here for school or running from a famine? I gave a little laugh. Something like that. Her name was Jomi. He's a sophomore, part of the physics department student union, and lives in the dorm next to mine. When I walked into the dorm, my other 3 roommates had already arrived. One came from Shanghai with 3 suitcases, one came from Chengdu and brought 2 bags of hot pot base. Someone from Harbin came and handed out dried frozen pears to everyone. They were very warm and welcoming. They asked me what local specialties I had brought. I thought for a moment, then pulled out a bag of spicy dried tofu I'd bought at the school gate. Does this count? They burst into laughter. On the first night of the new semester, I lay in bed. The upper bunk creaked whenever someone turned over. The slap of slippers echoed down the hallway. The phone screen lit up. Mom, Wan. Have you arrived at school? Me. Just got here, she replied instantly. How's the dorm? Is the bed comfortable? Have you eaten yet? I stared at that string of questions. After a moment, the reply came, all is well. Okay. Let mom know if you're short on money. I didn't reply. She didn't text back either. College life is busier than I imagined. Mathematical analysis, linear algebra, mechanics, general physics lab. The habits I retained from competitions helped me adapt quickly. I got a perfect score on my first calculus quiz. The teacher called roll in class. Juwan, this proof is beautifully written. My roommate secretly gave me a thumbs up from below. I lowered my head and smiled. In October, the college selected undergraduate research projects. Very few freshmen are eligible to apply. I submitted my application. On the day of the interview, 3 professors sat across from me. One of them asked, "Why did you choose physics?" I said, "Because I want to understand what the underlying rules really are in those seemingly unsolvable systems." The professor smiled. "Life is a system too." I nodded. "Life is more like chaos." They all laughed. I joined a quantum materials research group. My advisor is Gu Yanbai, a man in his 30s who speaks little but demands the utmost. At the first group meeting, he sent my report back for revisions. The background research is insufficient, the visuals are messy, and the logic is disjointed. The senior in the lab kept glancing at me secretly, afraid I might cry. I didn't cry. I asked, "Teacher, can I do it again?" Gu Yanbai looked up. "Of course, getting your work sent back for revisions is just part of the research process." That night, I stayed in the library until closing time. Jomi brought me an onigiri. "I heard Mr. Gu gave you a hard time." "Not a scolding, just pointed out some issues." "You have such a great attitude." I took a bite of the rice ball. Getting yelled at is far better than being locked out. She froze. I didn't say anything more. In November, my father came to Beijing. He didn't tell me. The dorm supervisor called, saying there's a man downstairs looking for me, and he registered as my father. I stood by the dorm window, looking down. He was wearing a black jacket and carrying a bag in his hand. The wind in Beijing was strong, and his hair was tousled. I went downstairs. He saw me and immediately straightened up. Wan, what's up? He handed me the bag, a scarf your mom knitted, and some food. I didn't answer. He said she wanted to come, but she was afraid you'd be upset. I looked at him. I wasn't exactly thrilled when you came either. His expression froze for a moment before he forced a smile. I know, son. Silence. He spoke again. I'm in Beijing on a business trip. Thought I'd drop by and see you. Our business back home doesn't have any dealings that would send someone to Beijing. He lowered his head. A lie exposed hangs on you like an ill-fitting coat. I just wanted to see you. The wind blew, and the plastic bag rustled. I asked, have you finished reading it? His eyes were red with tears. Done. He placed the bag on the steps at the entrance of the dormitory building. If you don't want it, just throw it away. The scarf, your mom spent a whole month knitting it. Her fingers were raw and bleeding more than once. I said, she once knitted a white one for Song Qingli, finished it in just 2 days. He froze completely. I continued. I asked her back then if she could knit one for me too. She said she was too busy with her final year of high school and told me not to be a bother. His lips trembled. I'm sorry. I didn't say it was okay, because it wasn't. After he left, I stood downstairs for a while. Finally, I picked up the bag. Inside were a scarf, some beef jerky, cold medicine, and a bank card. There was also a piece of paper. Damn it, Wan. I realize I don't even know what you like to eat anymore. It seems I never really asked before. The beef jerky, Teacher Chen mentioned you liked it. If you don't like the color of the scarf, I can knit you another one. There isn't much money on the card, so please don't feel any pressure. I'm not asking you to come home. I just don't want you to be cold this winter. I folded the paper. I mailed the bank card back. The scarf stayed behind. Gray. The stitches aren't very even. In December, Beijing saw its first snowfall. I wore that scarf to class. It was so warm. I took a photo of the snowy scene and sent it to Mr./MS. Chin. Mr./MS. Chin replied, looks great. A minute later, she texted again, the scarf looks nice too. I didn't reply. Before finals, Lu Chenzhou sent me an email. No idea where he found my email address. Title, Zhu Wan. I'm sorry, the main text is quite long. Write about childhood, write about his regret, write that he and Song Qingli have cut off contact. He writes of dreaming each night that I stand by the window, my hands covered in blood. Last line, if you're willing, I'd like to get to know you again. After reading it, I hit delete. The trash bin has been emptied too. Want to start over. Meeting some people once is more than enough misfortune. I didn't go home for the winter break. I stayed on campus to work on experiments with the research group. On New Year's Eve, only a few of us from the group remained in the lab building. Professor Gu treated everyone to hot pot. My senior lab mate asked, Zhuan, aren't you homesick? I picked up a slice of tripe. Not interested. Zhoumi kicked him in the side. The senior brother immediately shut his mouth. At midnight, someone was setting off fireworks outside. No fireworks allowed on campus. A faint glow bursts at the city's distant edge. The phone vibrates. Mom, Happy New Year. Wan. Dad, Happy New Year. I looked at it for a long time. Reply, Happy New Year. Mom called immediately. I didn't answer. She sent a voice message. Clicking open, it's a line choked with tears. All right, just Happy New Year is enough. I turned off the screen. The fireworks outside the window faded. The experiment is still crunching the data. I looked down and went back to studying the curve. This year, I had no home, but I have a lab, roommates, and mentors, and there is finally a path I have chosen for myself. 6. In my second semester of freshman year, my project yielded its first set of promising data. Professor Gu, who rarely gave praise, actually complimented someone. Zhuan, these results are publishable. The senior students in the lab broke into applause. When Zhoumi found out, she was even more excited than I was. Treating, second floor of the cafeteria. You're about to publish a paper and you're still eating at the second floor cafeteria. There's braised pork on the second floor. She rolled her eyes. All right, braised pork it is. In June, the first draft of the paper was completed. Professor Gu listed my name as the first author. I stared at the list of authors in the email for a long time. First author, freshman year. In the past, my first instinct would have been to tell my mom. Now, I forwarded the email to Teacher Chen. Teacher Chen replied quickly, I knew you Could do it. Another 5 minutes passed. She sent a photo. It's a high school bulletin board. There's a photo of me from the college entrance exam and a copy of my Kyoto University acceptance letter taped on it. There's another saying nearby, "The road stretches beneath the feet of those who set out." I stared at that sentence. It reminded me of the Chinese essay on the college entrance exam, so someone actually remembered during the summer break. The school arranged for me to return to my alma mater to give a talk. Ms. Chen asked me if I was willing. "You can say no if you don't want to," I said. "I'll go." She fell silent for a moment. "Your parents might come, whatever." The day I went back, the city was stiflingly hot. At the high-speed rail station exit, I didn't ask anyone to pick me up, took a taxi to the hotel. 9 a.m. the next day, at the alma mater's auditorium, a banner was hung on the stage, "Outstanding Alumni Study Experience Sharing Session." I sat backstage, listening to the host read out the introduction. Zhu Wan, class of 2002 ex-graduate. Scored 719 on the Gaokao, ranking second in the province, currently studying at the School of Physics, Peking University, submitted an SCI paper as first author during freshman year. The applause from the audience was thunderous. I walked onto the stage. The first row is occupied by school administrators and teachers. My parents were seated against the wall on the right. My mom has lost a lot of weight. A few strands of hair have turned gray. My dad is getting old too, his back slightly hunched. They are looking at me. The gaze was cautious to the point of being almost humble. I looked away. Share for an hour. I cover learning strategies, competition planning, and psychological boundaries. Finally, a student raised a question. A girl stands up. "Senior, what should I do if my family doesn't support my choices?" The auditorium fell silent. Teacher Chen was watching me from the audience. I'm holding the microphone. "Let's get one thing straight first," the girl asked. "What? They don't support you because they see risks you don't, or because they want to use your life to fill someone else's hole?" The audience fell even more silent. I continued. "The former can be reasoned with, the latter must flee." The girl froze for a moment, then nodded emphatically. After the talk, a group of students gathered around to ask for autographs. I signed a dozen or so notebooks. As the crowd thinned out, my parents walked over. My mother was holding a lunchbox. This time, she didn't try to shove it into my hands. She just set it down on the nearby table. "Wan, I made braised pork. If you don't want it, you can just throw it away." I didn't move. She immediately said, "It's fine, really. Mom just put it here." My dad whispered, "How have you been lately?" "Not bad. How's the experiment going?" "Busy." He nodded. I'm at a loss for words again. My mother looked at me, her eyes slowly welling up. "You're looking much better than before. The cafeteria food is great." She pressed her lips together. It was as if the words had stung her. After a moment, she pulled an old clear plastic bag from her purse. Inside were copies of my report cards and competition certificates from all 3 years of high school. The corners of the papers were smoothed out and arranged in chronological order. "Mom has laminated all of these again. You took the originals, and I kept a copy for myself." Her voice was soft. "Mom didn't really look at it properly before. Now she looks at it every day." "I'm looking at that bag." "Didn't pick up." "No need to show it to me." Her hand trembled, and she quickly pulled the bag back. All right, my dad said. "We tore down the storage room at home and repainted the walls. Your old room is cleared out now too. Nothing's left in it. If you ever..." He trailed off. I said, "I'm not going back to live there." He nodded. "I know, son." The silence grew heavy again. My mother suddenly said, "Qingli is back." I look up. She hurriedly explained. "We didn't call her. She came to our house a few days ago, asking if she could borrow some money. She said her mom was sick." "Did you borrow it?" My father's voice grew heavy. "No." My mother's fingers tightened around the lunch bag. She knelt at the door for half an hour. She trailed off, almost softened up again. Her face went pale. I said, "That's normal. Old habits die hard." Tears began to fall from her eyes. Wan, please don't say that. Your mother has already." "And then what?" She couldn't get the words out. I looked at my father. "You can keep helping her. That's your choice." I paused for a moment. "But don't use my things to help." My mom cried and shook her head. "Never again. Not ever." I didn't say anything more. In the afternoon, as I was about to leave school, I saw Song Qingli at the entrance. She's lost so much weight she's almost unrecognizable, hair disheveled, holding a discounted drink from a bubble tea shop. Her eyes lit up at the sight of me, then dimmed just as quickly. "Juan." I stopped. She took 2 steps closer. "I heard you published a paper." She let out a soft laugh. "Nice. You're always so lucky." I looked at her. Do you even believe that yourself? Her face froze. I said, I got that 719 bleeding on the day I locked myself into study. I revised that paper at 3 in the morning, and you call that luck? She bit her lip. You already have everything. Why can't you just let me go? I never looked for you. But everyone already knows. They all know I scored 263 on the college entrance exam, that I forged documents, and that I cheated people out of money. Now when I'm job hunting, people look me up and immediately dismiss me, complaining about my low education level and the disciplinary record in my file. I asked calmly, which part was a lie. She began to breathe heavily. Can't you just get the disciplinary action removed for me? Just tell the school you've forgiven me. I almost laughed. Who said I forgave you? Her eyes reddened. Juan, look at the state I'm in. What state are you in? She pointed at herself. I make $3,000 a month, rent a basement, and my mom constantly calls me useless. I can't even afford a decent outfit. I said, then go take the college entrance exam, get a bachelor's degree through advancement, and learn a trade. You've got hands and feet. She stared at me intently. Easy for you to say. Do you think everyone's as good at studying as you are? I took a step forward. Song Ching-li, your biggest problem isn't that you can't study. She looked up. I said, it's you who always thinks the world owes you a path. She froze. My parents owe you. That's between them and you. Lu Chinzhou likes you. That's his business. But I don't owe you anything. I looked into her eyes. My path isn't for you to walk, and don't you dare dump your mess on me. The color drained from her face. I stepped around her. She shouted after me, Juan, you'll regret this. I didn't look back. Some harsh words. You can tell at a single hearing that they carry no weight. After returning to Beijing, my paper was accepted. Professor Gu announced it at the group meeting. Juan, well done. The whole group applauded. The night I received the email, Teacher Chen forwarded a video. It was my parents sitting in the last row of my alma mater's auditorium, listening to my talk. In the video, I stand on stage and say, if someone locks your door, don't stand there crying. Look for a window, find the key, or break through somewhere. The camera shook slightly. My mother lowered her head and covered her face. My dad sat beside me, his eyes red with tears. I finished reading and turned it off. Not satisfying, nor was there any sadness. I suddenly realized, they finally understood. It's too late to understand what you're saying. 7. In my sophomore year, I was offered the opportunity to study abroad in Europe, full funding. Before departure, the college requires an emergency contact. I've filled in Mr. Chen. The counselor glanced over. Shouldn't parents be filled in? I said. It's not convenient. She didn't press for details. In December, I attended an undergraduate physics conference in Switzerland. After the presentation, a professor asked me if I'd be interested in applying for their summer research program. I answered smoothly in English. Back at the hotel in the evening, it was snowing outside. I stood by the window, recalling the blood from the day of the college entrance exam. The scar has faded. Only upon close inspection can you see a faint line. The phone vibrated. A message came in from Mr./Ms. Chen. Mr. Chen, your father has been admitted to the hospital. I'm looking at the screen. After a long pause, replied, is it serious? Teacher Chen, acute gastric bleeding, but he's been stabilized. Your mom told me not to tell you, but your dad woke up and asked me to pass on a message. Me, what, Mr. Chen, he said, don't come back, don't get in the way. He just wanted you to know he's still alive. I stared at the words don't come back. A heaviness settled in my chest. Mr. Chen messaged again. He hasn't managed to quit drinking properly these past 2 years, and he lost his job. Your mom is working as a cashier at a supermarket. Things aren't going too well. I replied, is the money enough for the medical bills? Mr. Chen, they didn't say. I transferred 20,000 to Mr. Chen. Me, give it in your name. Don't say it's for me. Mr. Chen, there's really no need for this. I don't want to owe a life. It took her a long time to reply. Mr. Chen, all right. A week later, my mom texted me, Mom, Wan, your teacher Mr. Chen borrowed some money from us. Your dad says we'll pay it back slowly. Mom, take care of yourself overseas. Don't worry about things back home. I stared at the words back home. No reply. During the spring festival, I returned home to attend an academic camp. The plane touched down in Beijing. I didn't go back to that city, but the matter came knocking on my door. Lu Chinzhou appeared at the entrance of Jing University. He said he came to Beijing for the graduate school entrance exam interview. I watched the file folder in his hand. Wishing you success. He let out a bitter smile. You won't even bother to say one more word now. I said, if you already know, why ask? He lowered his head. I heard my uncle was hospitalized. None of your business. Song Qingli is in Beijing too. I frowned. He said immediately, I haven't seen her. She contacted me, wanted to borrow some money, and she says she has an edited recording from your college entrance exam day, along with screenshots you posted in the group chat. She wants to post it online. Claiming you've backed her into a corner, I laughed. Let her post it. Lu Chenzhou was stunned. You're not scared. Scared of what? That people will find out I was locked out, or that they'll find out she faked it, he said. The internet isn't always a place for reason. Then let the lawyers do the talking. I turned to leave, he said hastily. Xuan, I only came to warn you. I stopped. Well, thanks for the warning. A faint glimmer flickered in his eyes. I added, that's your warning. Don't come back. That glimmer went out. 3 days later, Song Qingli actually posted the video. The title is very long. 3 years of bullying from the province's second-best student. She ruined my college entrance exam and my life. In the video, she was crying her eyes out. She claimed that my family had supported her since childhood, but that I had always been jealous of her. They accused me of deliberately harming myself on the day of the college entrance exam to frame my family, saying that after I got into a prestigious school, I used my connections to have the school discipline her. She can only work odd jobs now, all thanks to me. The video includes the screenshot I shared in the group. They also included a clip of me saying in the classroom, from today on, crying won't help you anymore. The comments blew up almost instantly. Someone called me heartless. Some say that bullying by top students is even more terrifying. Someone dug up my school. The Kyoto University forum also had some shares. My roommate burst into the lab looking for me. Xuan, have you checked Weibo yet? I'm calibrating the instrument. I saw it. How can you be so calm? She did a terrible job cutting it. Xiaomi paused, taken aback. I plugged the USB drive into the computer. Inside are the full audio recording, police report, hospital stitching records, school disciplinary documents, evidence of falsified volunteer service, and transaction records. There's also a receipt for the application too. Review the surveillance footage from the National College Entrance Exam site, I said. Let's wait until she gains more traction. Xiaomi's look towards me changed. You were prepared all along. I nodded. Someone like her doesn't just lose at once. At 8 o'clock that evening, Song Qingli's video surged to the top of the local trending list. At 8:10, I posted my response. No long essay, just one sentence. Xuan, the full version is here. The police report is here, and the disciplinary file is here. Feel free to sue. 9 Grid evidence. The first segment of the complete recording is me knocking on the door inside the room. My voice trembled. Mom, why is the door locked? Lu Chenzhou, Wan, don't go today, my dad said. Once the exam's been going for half an hour and she can't get in, she'll calm down on her own. In the second segment, Song Qingli pressed against the door and said, but they were willing to help me. The third segment shows her crying out at the school gate. You can't do this, I really didn't mean it, accompanied by hospital diagnosis, open wound on left wrist, sutured with 3 stitches. Public opinion flipped in just 20 minutes. The comments went from cursing me to cursing her, locking the door to prevent the college entrance exam. What kind of hellish plot is this? Scoring 719 and they still call it luck. Sis, your life is seriously tough. Song Qingli's editing skills are barely scraping by at 263 points. You should report this to the police. It's absolutely vile. Lu Chenzhou was also exposed. His university's online forum was flooded overnight. Someone asked him, Doorlock bro, did you pass the re-examination? He sent me a message. Lu Chenzhou, I'm sorry, I will make a public apology. I didn't reply. The next day, he posted an apology video. His face was pale and lifeless. Admitted to participating in locking the doors on the day of the college entrance exam. Admit that he was biased towards Song Qingli. Admit to causing me serious harm. At the end of the video, he said, Xuan never bullied anyone. She was the one who was hurt all along. This sentence is 2 years overdue, but at least it worked. Song Qingli's account was banned. Unwilling to let it go, she created a burner account to continue the tirade. Netizens quickly doxed the shop where she worked. The manager fired her, fearing it would hurt business. She called me. I answered. Her voice was hoarse. Xuan, are you really trying to drive me to my death? I said. When you posted that video, did you ever think you were pushing me towards suicide? She was gasping for breath. I just want to live. Then don't make a living by harming others. She let out a sudden scream. Who do you think you are to always win? Who do you think you are? I waited for her to finish shouting, because I spent all the time you used for acting on doing practice problems. All that remained on the other end of the line was heavy breathing. I hung up and blocked them. 3 days later, she showed up at the entrance of Jing University to confront me. The security guard stopped her, disheveled. She shouted my name towards the school gate. A crowd gathered to watch. I did not go out. Jomi stood by the window, watching. Not coming, not coming. She looks absolutely miserable. I was flipping through the thesis. Suffering doesn't equal innocence. Jomi turned to look at me. Juan, you're so clear-headed right now. I smiled. It came from the pain. That evening, I got a text from my mom. Mom, Juan, we saw what happened online. Mom, after listening to the recording, your father sat alone on the balcony all night. Mom, I'm sorry. I always thought I meant well, but now I understand. If good intentions trample over you, they're not good intentions at all. I stared at it for a long time. Reply, yeah, she replied. You texted me back. I didn't reply again. Some relationships are like a scorched coffee table. No matter how hard you scrub, the black mark remains. 8. In my senior year, I received my PhD admission offer from Princeton, a full scholarship. The email came through while I was monitoring a cryogenic setup in the lab. 2:27 in the morning. I clicked open the acceptance letter. The screen's glow lighting up my face. Congratulations. I stared at the word and suddenly remembered 8:31 on the day of the college entrance exam. The door that was locked from the inside. For years had passed. I crawled out from behind that door and kept crawling, all the way to somewhere far beyond. Professor Gu replied to my email. Guyan Bai. Congratulations, you deserve it. Teacher Chen called directly. Juan, her voice was even more excited than mine. Professor, Princeton, yeah, do your parents know? I remained silent. She let out a sigh. Shall I tell them? I said. Whatever. The next day, my mom sent me a text message. Mom, Juan, Teacher Chen said you're going to the U.S. for your PhD. I don't know what to say, just so happy, and I feel like crying. Mom, you used to say you wanted to see the world, and I'd laugh, thinking you were dreaming too big. Now you've actually gone so far away. Mom, have a safe trip. I'm back this time. Me. Thanks. She sent a voice message. I didn't play it. A few minutes later, another message appeared. Mom, it's okay if you don't listen. I just wanted to say, have a safe trip. Before graduation, I went back to my alma mater. Not a speech. Teacher Chen has retired. The school held a farewell party for her. I took time off specifically to come back. She saw me and couldn't help but complain. What are you coming back for? Do you think tickets are free? You're retiring. Someone had to come. Her eyes welled up, and she turned her head away. Keep it low-key. After the farewell party, Ms. Chen asked me to come to her office. She took an old file folder out of her desk drawer. This is for you. I opened it. Inside were the hotel key cards she had kept for me on the day of the college entrance exam, a copy of the hospital suture record, and a photocopy of my Chinese essay. I was stunned. You can photocopy an essay, she smiled. The examiner was quite moved after reading it back then. Later, when the city was compiling a collection of outstanding essays, they asked for your permission. Don't you remember? I honestly forgot. On the page was a single line, a road is never found on a door, it's made by the steps of those who walk out. Mr. Chen said, I've kept it all this time, now I'm returning it to you. I put the paper away. Thank you, teacher. She waved her hand. Don't thank me. If you ever become a big scientist, remember to send me a postcard. Absolutely. As I was leaving school, I saw my parents at the gate. They were standing under the plane tree. They looked like they'd been waiting for a long time. I stopped. My father spoke first. We heard you were back, so we came to see you. We didn't mean to intrude. His hair had turned mostly gray. My mother wasn't holding a lunchbox, nor was she holding a scarf. She was only holding an apple, a red delicious. She gave an awkward smile. I bought it on the way. Do you want? She trailed off mid-sentence. Perhaps she remembered. All those years ago, she only ever peeled apples for Song Qingli. She began to pull the apple back. Forget it. I didn't wash it. I walked over and took the apple. She froze. Tears welled up instantly. Juan, I said. I'll wash it myself. She nodded emphatically. All right. You wash it yourself. My father looked at me, his lips moving for a long time without a word. When are you leaving for the States? Next month. Take care of yourself. Yeah, got enough cash. Enough. How about your health? Not bad. The conversation felt forced. It was like three strangers making small talk at a train station, but I didn't leave right away. I looked down at the apple. The surface is glossy with an even color. I waited many times when I was a kid. I'll wait for her to peel an apple for me, waiting for a word of praise from my father, waiting for Lu Chenzhou to stand by my side, waiting for this house To feel like a home eventually. I stopped waiting. Once I stopped waiting, everything suddenly felt weightless. My mother said softly, "Juan Juan, we sold the old house." I looked up. She explained, "That home, you didn't want to go back, and we couldn't bear to stay either. We've moved to a small place near the school." My dad said, "We took pictures of your old storage room before we tore it down. Your mom wanted to make sure we remembered it." I didn't say anything. My mom's tears fell. Mom keeps having this dream lately. You're pounding on the door, saying you're going to be late for the college entrance exam. I try to open it, but I can never find the keys. She covered her mouth. After I woke up, I just sat there until dawn. I looked at her. There was none of the satisfaction I had imagined, nor was there any urge to forgive. I just felt weary, a deep, enduring weariness. I said, "Stop dreaming." She froze. "I'm out." Her tears flowed even more freely. My dad turned his face, and his shoulders gave a slight tremble. I went on, "Don't keep living in that moment. Move on with your lives, and take care of your health. From now on, there's no need to ask about me or wait for me to come home." My mom got worried. "Juan Juan, I'm not trying to force you to come home." "I know." She stopped. I said, "I'm just letting you know, I won't be going back to the way things were." The wind rustled through the phoenix trees, the leaves rustled. I put the apple in my bag. "I'm off. Safe travels." My father said, his voice hoarse. I nodded. "Goodbye." This time, I didn't say I didn't know you, nor did I mention my parents. I only said goodbye. After returning to Beijing, I was busy with my graduation defense, visa processing, finding a place to rent, and packing my luggage. On the day I left for the United States, Mr. Chen saw me off at the airport. Jomi showed up too, and hugged me while sobbing uncontrollably. "Let me know you've arrived safely." "Yeah. Don't just do experiments all day. You could try dating someone. We'll see. Don't just brush me off." I smiled and gave her a hug. My phone buzzed just before the security check. "Mom, have a safe trip." "Dad, have a safe journey." Lu Chenzhou also sent an email title, "Wishing you a bright future." I didn't even open it, just deleted it. Some people should stay in the old email inbox's trash folder. The radio rang out. I dragged my suitcase toward the security checkpoint. The scar on the wrist is barely visible under the light. "Xu Wan," called Teacher Chen from behind. I looked back. She waved at me. "Keep going." I smiled. "Got it." At the security checkpoint, the officer glanced at my passport and admission documents. "Heading off to study." "Yep, pretty impressive." "And safe travels." I took the document. "Thank you." As the plane took off, the city gradually shrank outside the window. I didn't cry, nor did they look back. In the bag were the half-eaten apple, the photocopy of the essay from Mr. Chen, and the acceptance letter from Princeton. The clouds outside the window are thick and heavy. Once the plane broke through, sunlight suddenly flooded the entire cabin window, so bright it stings the eyes. I closed my eyes for a moment. When I opened my eyes again, a new course lay ahead, a new nation, a new laboratory, new topic. On the day of the college entrance exam, Lu Chenzhou locked me inside the house. They thought it was the end. That was truly the sound of my life's door opening.